2, 1. Yo. What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? SEC fans everywhere. Welcome to the one and only Big Trail Network YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Remember to like the video, the live stream. Hit the like button. Smash the like button. So Arkansas basketball has their next opponent. And so that's big news because Tulsa opts out. They've got some COVID issues they're dealing with, so they opt out. I don't know if they can make that game up or not. If you fill the spot on the schedule, then no, I don't know why you would, right? You have I'm sure there's like a threshold for the amount of games that you could play. So Southern University, it's gotten to a point where I say the intro with you. Awesome, Gavin. I appreciate that, brother. I'm glad it's stuck in your head like a bad song. So Southern, I don't know anything about these guys. I was trying to do a little bit of research before I went live. I was waiting for the announcement. I'm like cooking dinner. I'm getting prepared. I've got my notifications turned on for Razorback basketball on Twitter. And they finally announced they're going to be playing. They're going to play Southern. So we're gonna look at them in just a second. We're going to talk about them in just a second. If you guys would, don't forget, please. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. What are we at? 3 likes? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. Let's smash it. I know you could do it. The usual intro. Like, comment, or question if you have any in the chat with me. And make sure you @ my name and reference what you're talking about because I get ahead. Obviously, I'm ahead of you guys. So sometimes I go back and read and I have no idea what you're talking about. My mind moves 150 miles an hour in one direction, never backwards. And so I'll forget what the hell it was I was talking about. So, like the stream, share it across social media again. And I did. It's so funny. I talked about how the links have been broken. They have been broken. I don't know what's going on when you try to share the content. So now I've got to just share my thumbnail that I've created across social media as opposed to using YouTube's own link there. So it's one less link for you to click. I apologize. Ty, when will we be ranked? We'll see. You play an awful non-conference schedule. You play an awful non-conference schedule. It's hard to rank a team when you're not playing anybody worth a damn, right? I mean, let's be real. 14 already. Bing, bang, boom. Keep them coming. I think we had up to like 25 people in here a second ago. I hope you guys got notifications. Again, I don't know what's up with YouTube, man. I mean, considering I'm here and I'm on the podcast with the Hog Talk, those notifications go out. I get those every Monday and Friday when we go live, or when we post our podcast, they go up. We have them scheduled for 6 a.m. They're supposed to go off at 6 a.m. I get a notification every time. But for whatever reason, YouTube just cannot get those notes out. They can't get the noties out. I don't know what the deal is. It's pissing me off. Southern University, interesting program. So they had a game they were supposed to play against Gonzaga. Got canceled. They are 0-2. They lost to overtime to North Carolina Central, 85-78. They've got this guy Shivers, who's like their leading scorer. Averages like 16 points a game, but they've only played 2 games. They went on the road against Iowa. I don't know if this was ever a close game, but they lost 103-76, which is respectful on the road against a Power 5 opponent. They lost in overtime against, again, North Carolina Central, and they scheduled Gonzaga. These small programs, this is what they do, right? They know they've got to bulk up their schedule. By the way the SEC looks, I don't know what the threshold's going to be to get into tournament play. But I am so proud of the University of Arkansas, Coach Musselman, who reached out. I don't know if you guys saw that on Twitter today, but he reached out to in-state schools and nobody could play him. And I think there were some scheduling issues there as well. I think Arkansas State had been brought up. I think they have a game. I don't think it's been postponed yet. tomorrow, don't they? Doesn't State play tomorrow? And then UCA, their coach, I watched that clip. He was asked about it, and I think he said he was going to text Coach Musselman, but I guess they couldn't work anything out. If you go back and watch that, go look it up. The UCA coach, he's talking. Is it UCA or Little Rock? I'm thinking of Little Rock. They talked about it. They assumed it was he said to play that game up there. So this wasn't like a where are you going to play the game at kind of thing, right? Like you would want to play in that kind of you would want to play in Bud Walton if you're an opponent. I mean that place is magical, even though you can't sit but like 10 people in in the crowd. But no, Southern, not a lot to be known about these guys. Looking at their roster, they are not exactly small. They have some size. They got a couple of 6'11 guys. Now, I have no idea. James Edwards, 6'11", 205. I don't know if they're all playing or if maybe some of these guys these guys are seniors. So they're either grad transfers or they should be playing. Harrison Henderson, both their fives. They've got some size. Both their fives are pretty big. Both are 6'11". One's 240, one's 205. They have a 6'7" in Jamarcus Jones, who plays at their 5 spot. They've got several centers, a couple big forwards. Andre Torr is a 6'8", 210-pound forward. And they have depth. I mean, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 guys they're going to be able to rotate. Assuming these guys are all eligible and they're all playing and none of them are hurt. Again, forgive me, this is last second. Don't know much about these guys. Let's look at their statistics. Asante, am I saying that right? Or is it Asante? Asante, my bad. I don't have my, Asante, that's not I don't know very many dudes named Asante. Asante Shivers, who's a guard, averages about 37 minutes a game. He's averaging 16.5 points, almost 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He seems like a baller. Struggles a little bit at the free throw line. He's 75% there. But again, they've only played 2 games. So their next leading scorer is another guard, Jaden Sadler, 12 points a game. Where are they at on rebounds? Who's their guy on rebounds? 6.5. It's Sadler. Sadler, 6.5 rebounds. And then they've got their center, Kirk Parker. Okay, Kirk Parker must be their games played. He's played in 2 games, 6.5 rebounds. They got a couple of guys averaging over 6 rebounds a game. That's not terrible. The Shivers guy is interesting. Is that 4 steals on the year total? Or is that's 4 steals average? I don't know what I'm looking at here. But, yeah, so they filled the spot, and they filled it quick. Good for them. Good for them. Just wanted to flip Ty out. What are you going to flip me out on? Unpopular opinion, Chad Morse is a better play caller than Briles. Briles has just as much better quarterback situation. That is the worst take I've ever read, ever, in chat. That is the worst take ever. Okay, you are joking. But could someone please tell me where Southern even is? Where are they? Where are they? Somewhere in the South, right? Where are they from? They play in the SWAC. Is that Southwestern Athletic Conference? Is that what that is? Alabama A&M, Prairie View A&M, Grambling, Texas Southern. Let's see, Alabama State, Jackson State. Ain't nobody winning games in this conference. Surprise. I mean, these kind of teams out of these conferences don't play like they play tough games to start the year out. They always do. Their first 10 games are always like riddled with Power 5 or other good mid-major schools. But yeah, Alcorn State, I said Jackson State, Southern, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Mississippi Valley State. And right now, the best team in that conference, I mean, they're all bad. Alabama A&M's 1-0. Prairie View's 1-2. Grambling. Oh, Grambling's. Okay, Grambling's in this conference as well. 1-3. Texas Southern, 1-3. Alcorn 0-2. 0-1. Wow, look at this. Arkansas Pine Bluff's 0-5. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were that bad. Mississippi Valley State also 0-5. Their schedule, like when you look at it, dude, that's tough. I don't know anything about their first opponent, NCCU, but Iowa, I mean, that's a top 10 team. That's at Iowa, at Gonzaga. I don't know much about UAB this year. Scrolling down their schedule, yeah, I mean, that's really it, right? Their first several games. And I don't know how many games have been canceled or what other games other than Gonzaga have been pushed back or canceled. So I think that's a win-win for both programs. Absolutely. So, yeah. Let's see. State plays Wednesday. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Hey, Ty. What's up, Tim? How you doing, man? Just got back to Arizona after spending 2 weeks at Springdale. Ate at the Catfish Hole 3 times. Wow, 3 times. I think I gained 10 pounds while spending the holiday with my family. I love Arkansas. Tim, Arkansas loves you, brother. Arkansas loves you. Ronnie says, worst take over. Worst take ever. Sorry. I am definitely feel like I'm taking a sleeping pill or something. I'm just dragging these final the final hours in the day. So, look, you filled the game. That's what matters. And here's the thing, too. With the SEC struggling like it is, let's be honest, Kentucky's just not looking too good right now. And really the rest of the conference is not – they're not blowing folks away, right? Let's take a look at the SEC really quick. We're gonna get caught up there. We're gonna find out what's going on. Okay. So outside of Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, Missouri, and A&M, you've got a bunch of 3-0s. Arkansas obviously being the only 4-0s, but Kentucky at 1-3. South Carolina, who was expected. I thought they'd be better than starting out at 1-2. Mississippi State's 2-2. Auburn 2-2. They've had some interesting losses on the year, and that's what matters more than anything. You could be 3-0 and 5-0 and 6-0 all you want. But when you play some crap-tastic teams like the SEC has, outside of, obviously Kentucky's had a couple of really good matchups, but or at least one. When you play crap non-cons and you've got a couple of, 2 or 3 one-win teams to start the year off, and again, you got to consider who you've lost to. It's not the best way to start. It's not terrible. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the Big 12's done. Speaking of the Big 12, how about the women's? SEC women's, Arkansas, oh my gosh, the Ladybacks. That game was awesome. Me and my girls watched the final minutes of it. We were putting up the Christmas tree. It was pretty awesome to watch them beat Baylor. That was a hell of a game. I think the SEC overall went what? They played, is it 7 games? They went 6-1 or something against the Big 12 in women's. Good job. Shout out to the women's team and for women SEC basketball. It's the best. They're the best, and it just seems like they always are. It's between them and I don't know the Big 10 or the Big 12, the ACC off and on in women's sports, but the SEC is just so good in women's basketball. Men's not off to the best start though. It's not terrible. Again, you do have look, Bama's 3-1, although Bama was projected to be a top 5 team in the SEC. Yeah. Freshman of the week, Moses Moody. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. That's big. My wife, I don't know if you guys can hear the ding of our doorbell. My wife's walking in and out of the house. But good for him. Moody, golly, man, Moody is killing it, guys. Razorback basketball is, I get it. You're not playing great opponents. There's no one. I think all their wins are against teams that still have losing. They've got losing records. They're going to play UCA on the 12th. So let's get caught up there as well. There's an update on that game. So we'll play. So they're going to play Southern. That's going to be December 9th, 7 p.m. at Bud Walton. Tickets will be single game only. They're on sale now if you guys want to go get those. Where's the update for the? They must have deleted it. Hang on. They moved it. There's an update on the well, that's just great. There was a time move. Maybe there wasn't a time move. Well, anyways, what matters is they've got their opponent. Oh, here it is. Also, our home game on Saturday on the 12th with Central Arkansas will now start at 7 p.m. What was the other? What was it, 6? Was it supposed to start at 6 or something? I don't know. I don't know the times. You guys, I can't keep up with all this nonsense. But yeah, I'm glad they got their I'm glad they got their matchups. So another unpopular opinion, the NFC East is the best division in the NFL. Just kidding, but for real, go Cowboys. The NFC West is a gauntlet. My Rams, they lose to a pitiful Niners team. That's just the way it is. The Niners could be the worst team in NFL history this year. The worst team in NFL history. The Rams could be Super Bowl caliber, and they'd go 0-2 or 1-1 against the Niners. I hate the 49ers so much. I hate the 49ers. I hate them. And to think Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were like my two favorite quarterback receiver tandems growing up. I was kind of a Niners fan. All my family, my cousins were Niners fans. I was like, yeah, okay, I like Joe Montana. He went to the Chiefs. I was like, I'm a Chief fan. And then L.A. moved to St. Louis, and you guys know. You've all been around. Just check the play in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I don't know what you're talking about. Just check the play in Baton Rouge. Pine Bluff is 0-5 in life, says Bruce Hunt. Burn. Came late to the party. Who will our opponent be? Well, it is Southern University. I think they're the Jaguars. I'll be honest. I think I've heard of them. I don't know anything about them. Hey, Ty, do you think LSU is better than us? I don't know. Right now, at this point in the year, Arkansas's regress. If you're talking about football, no, I don't. Because Arkansas should have beat them. I mean, their hands were tied behind their back with COVID-19 on the defensive line. Jalen Catalon got ejected. You had the missed fumble. No, I think Arkansas is better. I don't think by much, but I do think they're better. I know they lost the head-to-head, but had Catalon not been ejected, had you been full steam, full, everybody, full depth chart, full roster, outside of you're going to have your occasional injuries. I think there were some players dealing with concussions going into that game too, if I remember right. I don't know who. I just remember Sam Pittman talking about it a little bit. But I think full go, yeah, Arkansas is better. I think Arkansas is better than Mizzou. I do. I mean, Catalon, you go back to that Mizzou game, Catalon, who had to sit out the first half, go back and watch the game after Morgan, after you lose your best, I don't know, it's debatable between him and Catalon, and Bumper Pool's been pretty good. But watch that game after he's out in the second half. He goes out in the third quarter. You look at that penalty, that ridiculous arm crossing penalty. SEC officiating is so absurd. No, I think Arkansas is better than Mizzou. I think they're better than LSU. I don't know about being better than Auburn, but they should have won that game. And Auburn and LSU still have more talent than Arkansas, but on the field product, I think the first 5 games of the year, they were I think they were a top 6 caliber, top 5 caliber team in the SEC. I think injuries caught up to them. The Koof got a hold of them. Yeah, I don't know if they still are, at the end of the year when the dust settles, if we're talking power rankings, not what your schedule is, because your schedule is, I don't believe that it's always an exact reflection of what you are as a program, except for the last 2 years. But when the dust settles, I don't know. We'll have to see how they do against Bama. That spread, by the way, that was going to be the next segment. Spread opens up at, 31, 32 points? Does Arkansas cover the spread? I don't know. We've got to beat Bama. We have got to beat Bama for a successful year. It just depends on what you define as successful, Bruce. I don't know that you necessarily have to beat Bama, to have a quote-unquote successful year. It just depends on what if finishing 500, if that were still in the cards, that's success. You finished with a conference win, and you've not done that in 2 years. You finished with 3 conference wins, and they're not beating Bama. Arkansas's not beating Bama unless I don't know, half their team catches COVID-19 and they still have to play the game. And even then, like, Bama could beat Arkansas silly with one hand tied behind their back. I mean, that's just the truth of it. They're dialed in. They're playing great football. And they have unbelievable talent. I mean, they're riddled with first-round talent. But, no, I don't think that you have to beat Bama to have a successful year. But I think if you play them good, that ought to be good enough. Try to cover the spread. That could be kind of, I don't want to call it a trap game, but they do have the following weekend. They got a tough one in the SEC championship. We got 3 more SEC wins. Exactly, Cobra. We got 3 more SEC wins than we did 2 years. Most people didn't think we could win a game this year. I would say that is a successful year. I agree completely. Hola, mi amigo. What's up, Tony Brown? How you doing? I was disappointed about the LSU loss. That was tough. It was tough. Will the Southern versus Arkansas game be televised? I don't have that information at the moment. Let me double check. I don't think they have that. I don't see that anywhere. No. Let me look on their official website. I don't know why I'm looking at my phone and not on my computer. The UCA game time was moved. Arkansas and Southern have met 2 previous. Oh, they have. The Razorbacks winning both. Arkansas defeated the Jaguars 76-75 in Pine Bluff on November 29th, 1985. How about that? And then 86-68 in Bud Walton to open up the 2015 season. I thought they were familiar. See, since this game was not part of any 2020 to 2021 season, ticket packages, single game tickets will be available to the general public. Okay, listen to this though. Prices include $15 for seats in the lower bowl, $10 for seats in the upper bowl. To purchase tickets or further information, blah 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 blah. Fans can, and here's the number you can get a hold of if you have any more questions. 800-982-4647, or locally it's 479 up here in Northwest Arkansas, 575-5151. So if you have any questions. So as far as I know, it doesn't look like it's going to be televised. I mean, Southern plays in Baton Rouge. Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Still a great show, but I can't understand why not U of A LR or ASU, why UCA? Are you talking about Saturday? I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about tomorrow or Wednesday's game, it's just schedule availability. I mean, look, this is last second to even get someone to fill that spot. That was hard work by the university. I'm sure Coach Muss was on the phone. She says, "Keep it real." I don't know what you're talking about, Leslie. Still a great show, but I can't understand why not. Okay, I don't know. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you. I really don't know. It just is what it is. Hey, Ty, what's up? Tim, what is your final score prediction for the Alabama game? I don't have one. I don't usually give those out until Friday. Sometimes we release them on Thursday. If they're going to cover the spread, it depends. I think that spread's probably going to the question for Friday is, first off, who the hell's playing quarterback? Well, Saturday, I mean. The question for Saturday is who the hell's playing quarterback? And look, KJ played an outstanding game on Saturday. I mean, he did. The guy had no idea. Think about it. He had no idea he was going to be the guy on Saturday. I think he knew it was a possibility because by the sounds of it, Friday there were rumors about his ribs. And if the media has a hold of it, then you know the team knows that. But think about that. All week he wasn't practicing with the ones. He wasn't getting reps with the ones. Felipe Franks traveled, dressed out, warmed up with the team, and then stopped. Obviously his ribs still bothering him at that point, I guess. And KJ steps in, 4 touchdowns. What did he have? Like over 300 yards of offense. Incredible performance for him. Overall, it's just a great performance. If Franks was 100% healthy, does Arkansas win that game? That's the question nobody's asking, and I think probably so. Yeah. Franks is a freshman, right? He's not prepared. He didn't work with the ones. And again, it just speaks volumes. I think the quarterback, unless he goes on the road against Bama, or excuse me, not on the road, if he takes on Bama next week and just, oh my gosh, floods the toilet, If he floods the toilet in the outhouse, I don't know how that's possible. If he does that, well, it's entirely possible because Bama's salty on defense. They're good. My gosh, they take the football away. They get pressure. I think they're tied for second for the most takeaways, and I think they still have some games to play, right? They still have a game they got to play. So you can't blame someone for stinking it up. But right now, I think the debate is settled about who's quarterback one next year. Well, for the rest of this year, Felipe Franks isn't good to go, because you still got a bowl game coming up. Assuming you make one, and I think they do. I think they do. But so then, with a healthy Felipe Franks, how much does that flip, right? How much does that flip the score? How much does that affect the overall score and what Arkansas can do? But on the flip side of that, did you see the offense under KJ? There was no slowing down. Mizzou had to fake all their injuries. Rest in peace to those guys, right? My gosh, so many people died on the field on Saturday. It's incredible. It only happened on defense, too. So strange for Mizzou. But anyways, that's the only way they could slow them down. That's the only way Mizzou could slow down that Arkansas offense. I think there was only maybe 2 drives where you looked at and you go, okay, better play calling. Maybe 3. A little bit better play calling, or KJ kind of overthrew a guy, or he threw the ball too hard there. There were a couple times. You had a Treylon Burks drop. There were 2 drops in that game, by the way, by Arkansas receivers. The only way they could slow them down. So, I don't know. Maybe the offense does operate better with a guy like KJ at the helm, who is a little bit more mobile and who could run out of the pocket and make plays, who could run the RPO far more effectively. We all know that that will make this offense more effective when you have a quarterback that you've got to be concerned about what he can do with his feet. That changes the entire dynamics of the offense. So, I don't know. But KJ's experience, being in big games, what he's done this year, he's throwing north of 65, 66% pass completion. His touchdown-interception ratio is nice. I mean, the guy is looked at as a possible draft prospect. So you got to imagine if he's playing and he's 100% healthy and good to go, and I think we're going to know more about that by Wednesday. We're going to know more about Morgan by Wednesday as well, I think. I think it's Wednesday is what Sam Pittman said today. These things matter. Without Morgan, this defense folded against Mizzou. Mizzou is not the kind of offense that racks up that kind of yardage. They're not. They're also not the kind of program to have a 5-game freaking win streak against the Razorbacks, but they do. God, that drives me crazy. I can understand the Bama losing streak, the A&M losing streak. I don't understand. I think there are a couple of games there where you could have won. Arkansas even looked like the better team, and they still found a way to screw it up and lose. Mizzou, you have no business with a 5-game losing streak to these guys. No excuse. No reason. Well, I mean, we know the reason. Bad coaching hires, just absolutely put Arkansas in the toilet. I could go on and on. But Saturday, if Arkansas is going to cover the spread, they're going to need more of what they did against Mizzou. By the way, Mizzou, total defense, pretty salty. I mean, these guys give up, 25 points a game? They only give up 370 or 360 yardage. Look what Arkansas did on offense against them on the road with a quarterback who didn't work with the ones that week, who didn't put in preparation for Mizzou. It was Felipe Franks, who did practice on Tuesday, by the way, or at least according to Otis Kirk. This team realistically could be 6-3 right now. I'm so excited about the future of the program under Pittman. More depth on defense is key, but once that's settled, we will close out games. It is key, but when people say that depth, it also kind of undermines another issue, which is talent. And I said it Saturday, and I'll say it again, they don't have it on defense outside of a couple of guys. Jalen Catalon is clearly – that kid is an All-American. He might make my difference maker list. We haven't had one on defense this year. We haven't had one on defense in years. He could be a difference maker as a freshman. You're talking about this kid being a possible All-American. Mo Brown has been productive. He still gets picked on a little bit. But Hudson Clark, obviously, I don't know if you guys saw Nikki Chevanel's tweet on him today. Oh, my gosh, he's just picked on. They pick on this guy, and he just, he gives up a lot of targets. He's got a few pass breakups on the year, which is okay for a freshman. And that's the other thing we got to remember. He is a freshman. Your linebackers have stepped up. I think Poole's it seems like he's regressed a little bit, and then when you don't have Morgan on the field, you're lost. that speaks to it is depth. I do agree. Depth has caught up to him. But it's a thing that I will repeat. I swear to God, I'm gonna print these T-shirts. Quality depth matters. Arkansas doesn't have it. It's not just bodies. They filled up. My dad and I have this conversation. Well, they went out and they grabbed some linebackers. Okay, but are they quality? Are these guys that are? Yeah, they're kind of Division I. They're kind of FBS. Yeah, they might be like special teams, Power 5 special teams caliber. Or are they legitimate SEC quality linebackers, SEC legitimate corners, SEC legitimate defensive linemen, defensive tackles, DNs? And I don't see as much of that right now as I would like to see. And that's the way moving forward. And that's not something you fix in a single year recruiting. I talked about that with Chad Morris's first year here. It takes a while. And here we are. I told you guys 2 years ago, it's going to take time. There's so much work that needs to be done. The good news is you have guys who I think have really high ceilings. And you're going to be able to work on these guys, develop them. You hear people say all the time, coach them up. Well, that's part of it. In the offseason, that's exactly how you do it. You develop these guys in the offseason. You get them in the weight room. Get them bigger, stronger, faster, tougher, meaner. You do all that in the offseason. And that's what's going to have to happen. And it would help if they have a full, uninterrupted offseason, spring camp, all the stuff, summer workouts, all of that, uninterrupted, and that held them back this year. And that's not Sam Pittman's fault. That's not anybody's fault. It's just part of it. They were already thin on defense, and we knew eventually it would catch up to them. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was amazed at what Barry Odom was able to do in the first few games. I was amazed at what he could do. And then it just caught up with them. They don't have quality depth. They don't have it. And there's a reason why you've got a walk-on freshman at your other defensive back spot. When people argue that with me, I'm like, there's a reason why Arkansas's had a former walk-on at linebacker. Now, he's turned out, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he plays great football, and he is arguably one of the best defensive players at that position in the SEC, in Morgan. Bumper Pool stepped up. I've always thought Bumper Pool could be better. He's finally having that year, and I cannot wait. Defensively, I feel like, I know I said this about Chavis. Oh, my God, and I'm going to say it again. I do feel like they're in position to build off of what they were able to accomplish this year on defense. Again, going back to the way they started. They're going to be able to build off that in the offseason. But quality depth matters, and they don't have a lot of it. They just don't. There's guys that are highly rated. Devin Bush, what the hell happened to him? What's going on with him? You're talking about a big-time freshman, big-time recruit out of high school. Out of Louisiana, and he's just not really turned the corner. I don't know, but he's a redshirt freshman. I just kind of thought by now he would make the two deep. I mean, again, you've got Hudson Clark, a walk-on who's made the two deep, who's starting. Where's the other? Where's Chavis? Where's Bush? Where's the other defensive backs that were either highly rated 3 stars or the other 1, 2, 4 stars you have in the secondary? Where are they at? But I don't disagree that they are building there. They are trying to add some bodies, and that's nice. Let's see. I was meaning basketball. They had a tough loss to St. Louis, who is pretty good. Just wondering who the best in SEC basketball this year. Our team looks pretty stout. I don't know. It's tough to say because they just haven't played enough. For me, it's tough to say Florida being 3-0. Mizzou's 3-0. A&M's 3-0. Vanderbilt could be salty. Bama was top 5. Kentucky has just fallen flat on their face. I don't know that it is Arkansas just based on, look, you're 4-0, right? Like, oh, wow, you're the best. You've got the best record. You should be ranked. It's going to take a while. Tulsa wasn't going to do it for you. This game you're playing now is not going to do it for you. Oral Roberts is not going to do it for you. Auburn might be able to do it for you. Auburn could be better. I don't know. Who have they played? Why are they sitting at 2-2? Who have they lost to? Oh, they lost to Gonzaga. Oh, they got smoked. That's right. I do remember that now. Yeah, they got smoked Gonzaga. And then they went on the road and lost to UCF. I'm still a little surprised. Is UCF good this year? Let's go down the rabbit hole. What's UCF looking like this year? UCF is 1-1. They've got a loss to Michigan, in which they lost 80-58. They're supposed to play Oklahoma earlier in the year, and it got postponed. Again, here's the other thing, and this is why last year I did, if you guys remember, those of you who've been around for a while, some of you OGs, I did a preseason, right, before the season started, and then I did a pre-conference pick, because you just don't know. Non-conference games, you just have no idea. Hell, you could lose to a ranked opponent by 40 points. Turn around, and we've seen this happen before. Turn around, I don't know, 40, I don't know, losing by 40. But then turn around and play ugly non-conference and then get into conference play, win 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row, and find your way into the or find your way deep into the SEC tournament, and then make the NCAA tournament. I mean, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, as a good friend of mine tells me. So I don't know if Arkansas's in that category. If they're a team that's sitting at 4-0 with the best record, if they can keep this up, going undefeated against these teams is not going to get you ranked. Then again, it depends on what happens around you. There is that. Now all the people saying Malik Hornsby should start have disappeared. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. Someone was going to come around and say that. I'm going to say this, though. I was excited about both of these guys signing with Arkansas. Malik Hornsby is a legitimate quarterback, man. I mean, Malik is impressive. At least based on his film. Based on his high school film, right? But KJ's a little bit older, more experienced. I think they both have higher ceilings than we realize. I don't know if this was a one-game blunder for KJ. Someone said, there was someone on Facebook, a friend of ours, of the Hog Talk, who said that Mizzou wasn't prepared for KJ, and that's why he had the success that he had. That might be the case. I guess we'll find out. I don't know I don't know what evidence you expect to get out of Bama, because Bama's good on defense. Bama's really good on defense. I think they've given up like the second fewest points, or the fewest points in the SEC. They sack the quarterback. They get pressure. They can play outside containment. They get takeaways. They make you pay for your mistakes. And KJ, who played great, didn't turn the ball over, really, I mean, my God, at full speed, Arkansas was hard to stop. Arkansas was real hard to stop. Traylon, who was just balling out. But that all opened up because KJ was going and because the run game got going with Traylon. So I'm excited about both of these guys. But when we play this like Team Malik or Team Rakeem Boyd, Team Traylon, Team KJ, it's just why? I may sit here and say, I think this kid's got a higher ceiling. I like him right now. He's playing better. But I'm for, and like I've said before, I am going to support the kid that's playing. Okay, I'm going to stand behind him, and hey, good luck, kid. I'm excited that Traylon is proving me wrong this year. Traylon is not that I said anything bad about Traylon, just that I thought Rakeem was the guy, and clearly game after game we're starting to see something's going on with, kind of similar to Isaiah Joe. Remember when Isaiah Joe was playing banged up? We couldn't figure out what was going on with the basketball team last year, and then we found out, he was banged up. He was injured. He needed something a little more than a shot, and needed some time off. Then he came back, and slowly Arkansas started to kind of get back into rhythm. I think that was the case with Rakeem, and part of me thinks that probably should have set the year out. Should have just opted the entire year out. And who knows what we'd be saying about Traylon if that had happened. Ty. Hey, Ty, and fellow Hawk fans. I hope everyone is doing well up there in the States. I appreciate what you do, Ty. Go Hawks. Hey, Scott, I appreciate that, man. Ty, how pleased are you to see KJ's progression? Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad you asked this. KJ's progression, just one offseason. Do we have a 4-year starter with him or too early? I think it's too early to say that. But you can see the difference, and I'm so glad you brought that up. You can see the difference in his game. And the other thing, too, Kendall Briles is calling the game like he's trying to build KJ's confidence up, giving him a sideline throw, some easy routes to deal with, right? Giving him the offensive line, by the way, guys. We did not brag enough about the offensive line Saturday. Oh, my gosh. That was the best complete game they've played all year. I don't know how many times KJ was actually hurried or pressured. I think they gave up 1 sack. The running lanes opened up. Dominant performance overall by the offensive line. Defensive line, that's another story. But KJ, you could just see his progression. You could see it, man. He's patient. He'll go through his reads. Not all the time. I kind of thought he rushed the throw a couple of times. Needs to take the heat off those underneath routes. Got to take the heat off. You remember Ryan Mallett had a big problem with that. Ryan Mallett would just try to break receivers' fingers. Or if you were going to pick the ball off, you better have both hands on the ball. That's the way Ryan Mallett, that's the way he threw the ball, even on those underneath routes, quick hitch routes, slant routes. Needs to take a little bit off, but, you know, his throwing motion, it is a little, it's, you know, it's not bad. It's just a little bit different than what we've seen out of Felipe Franks. Strong arm. That, his throws, most of them, not all of them, were on the money. You know, receivers weren't having to turn around behind him to try to make a catch. You know, there's only one throw where a receiver I felt like had to really stop and adjust to the ball. There was a throw to, I think it was Treylon Burks. Burks had to adjust to the throw, and his good Lord, his arm. I knew he had a strong arm. I wasn't so sure if it was as strong as Felipe Franks, and I think it is. I mean, that throw to Burks, and Burks is good for a deep. Arkansas's offense is good for a couple of deep throws a game. They can stretch the field. It makes you wonder sometimes why they don't do it more. You know, we've seen that a couple times where we've complained about, why aren't they stretching the field out more? Why aren't they throwing deep more? You know, force those safeties to cover over the top, and then, you know, force linebackers, spread them out, get them backed off, make the corners back off a few more yards. Have them play off the ball more. And that opens everything up, and that's exactly what happened on against Mizzou. You were hitting the edge. You know, you were hitting the, underneath routes. You were hitting the deep ball. Like, everything was clicking. But KJ's progression has been, it's night and day. It is so much better. So much better than last year's, and you could see it. And Kendall deserves a lot of praise for that. So, yes, good. I'm glad you brought that up. Gavin Pratt says, thank the Lord for your check, though. I'm telling you, did you guys see, was it War Machine who posted the tweet of him cheering or yelling at the ref for pass interference? I didn't see it until someone had posted the video on Monday, or today rather, this morning. It's so weird. Later in the day feels like, or later in the day it gets, you look back to earlier in the day and you're like, man, that feels like yesterday. But earlier today, I think it was War Machine, maybe it was Pinto. Someone had retweeted the video of him like yelling at the official with his face mask on. He's yelling at the official. I love that, man. I love it. His hires so far have, I think, left Arkansas better, like basketball and football, than where they found it. And that's Hunter Yurachek. Great hires. Keep Dave Van Horn happy, and you're in good shape. Trey Biddy said we are projected to play Iowa in the Music City. I also saw the Texas Bowl against Oklahoma State. Joe, thanks for the comment. Do you think that we go into Lexington and beat Kentucky this year? I can't stand losing to that idiot Calipari. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to win at Rupp. It's hard to win there. And they play better in conference play. They just do. That's what Kentucky does every year. I know Malik is great, but if KJ dials in that deep ball and back shoulder fade, it's going to be hard to sit him. I agree 110%. I just hope we continue to see progression. We are right on the edge of turning this thing 180 degrees. I agree 110%. And it goes back to better offensive line play. You got the run game going. Those gaps, I swear my fat ass could run through those gaps. I mean, and it all just kind of got, the offensive line really got helped out because of KJ's game, right? It alters the entire thing. Now, it's impressive watching him run. He can run, and, you better take the right angle at him, and you better get prepared. He will punish you. He will punish you, KJ will, if you try to shoulder tackle or if you try to meet him head on. Some of that, run out of bounds, slide. I wonder if we're going to have another quarterback that doesn't know how to slide. Did he slide? I don't think I saw him slide. Maybe I'm crazy. Someone help me out. But it all clicked. And what did I tell you guys? Now, here's the other thing, right? The question now is, you got the offense going. Why the hell couldn't they slow things down? Because you had this double-digit lead. What the hell happened? This offense doesn't work when they slow down. It doesn't. Now, that's usually the case. Saturday against Mizzou, the run game is established. You're dominating up front. I kind of thought the same thing. Why aren't they slowing this down just a little bit? And I know you're not supposed to play. When you play, quote-unquote, not to lose, that's looked down upon. Fans get pissed off. It's not so much about playing not to lose. It's about playing to rest the guys on the sidelines. It's called playing higher IQ football, chess, not checkers. You want to rest these guys. Even if the drive results in just a field goal attempt, but you've already got a double-digit lead, and they go 3 and out, and you could just feel it. And they try to – overall throughout the year when they slow down, it's been terrible. It hasn't worked because they haven't been able to establish the run. And they feed off each other. When you get one going, the other one works, right? When you get going, when you go or fast, high tempo, and you establish the run, well, now they're worn out. They're exhausted. Now you can slow it down in the fourth quarter. Now you can start taking your time. And again, it's not so much playing not to lose as it is playing to rest the guys on the sidelines, to rest your defense. And I'm surprised they didn't do more of that. I'm surprised they didn't try to slow it down more in the second half. But it ended up costing them. KJ should ask Cam, why you slide? I am, to cap it all off, Arkansas playing Southern. For those of you who maybe thought you missed that, Southern will be that's the game. That's up Wednesday, and they are currently not doing so well. They are 0-2, but they were pretty feisty on the road against Iowa. But they did end up losing 103-76. They lost to NCCU 85-78. We already went over their numbers a little bit. Going to be an interesting matchup. They're only 2 games in. How well rested are they? They are pretty deep. We talked about them having some size. Look out for this guy. Is it Shivers or Shivers? Asante Shivers. He's our guard. Almost 17 points a game, guys. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Not so hot at the free throw line, about 75%. From the floor, he's shooting 41%. He's turning the ball over a little bit. It looks like they're turning the ball over a little more than they want to. But 3-point percentage, he's about 23%. Overall in the year, they shoot about 34%. So, they're pretty feisty, it looks like, on the offensive side of the board. We'll see how they handle all of Arkansas's power. They haven't seen anything like it yet. They have not seen anything like what they're about to see on Wednesday. So, they're pretty deep. They have a pretty decent roster. So, again, Wednesday, December 9th, 7 p.m., Southern Jaguars. That's who you're matched up against. And, so we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. I feel pretty good about it. We will be live. I'm planning on being live again Friday. I'm going to try and get possibly an edited video out again this week. The last one did pretty good. I'm going to try and get another one out. So we need change.org to get Ty paid by the university as a correspondent. Thanks, Ty. You are the realist out here. I appreciate that. I really do. KJ and Browse is a match made in football heaven. Joe, you may not be wrong about that, sir. You may not be wrong about that. I don't want to get overhyped over one game. But the point is, we saw KJ's capable of doing that, what happened Saturday. So we know that much. We'll see if he is the guy on Saturday, if he can continue to do so. It'd be great for him. Could you imagine going out and balling against Bama? Yeah, they probably still win by 20, 30 points. But could you imagine going out there racking up 35, 40 points on that defense? Oh, the hype on offense would be unreal. Still got to fix some things on defense. They still got a little ways to go. So, what a beat, Ty. Thomas, we're wrapping it up here, man. But I appreciate you Patreon supporter, you. If you guys want to join the Patreon, I would really appreciate it. It goes a long, long ways. You can check out that link provided for you down below in the description box. I am definitely not paid by the University of Arkansas. I'm not a correspondent of the U of A. That would be awesome if I were. I'm not. But if you guys want to join the Patreon, it's a $4 minimum per month deal. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to be a part of some monthly thing, there's also a PayPal link provided for you in the description box as well. So, again, going to try and get you guys an edited video this week. I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it'll be just about the Bama game. It could be kind of some more thoughts on KJ and what happened what happened with the Mizzou game. I've got some more things I want to say there. I don't know if I'm going to put a video. I don't know what it's going to be on. I got to write a script, get it figured out. But I do appreciate you guys for being a part of this. To all the Patreon supporters, woo pig suey, I love you guys, but I love everyone who's here in chat. I appreciate all the likes and the shares across social media. So Yo, tie off subject, but did you see the UNLV sushi guy? Is that the quarterback that ate off of a naked chick's body? I saw something about that. That was insane. And he had this. I don't know what happened with that. What? That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I just saw it like an hour and a half ago or an hour ago. That was insane. Would you apologize? I saw Ruskin and Zach. That's where I saw that. They said, if you did that, would you apologize? I mean, oh boy, what a world. Okay, Woo Pig, I'll see you guys later on in the week. You guys behave yourselves.